Timeout, overtime, hot take, debate, penalty by so many yaps. We on the way, unapologetic opinions, guests checking in, so I share on my social. Merch going up, my brother, he going global. Ads hold it down for the ladies, they need their own show. But we right back with it, timeout with Coach Cam, we shouldn't miss a minute, yeah. But we right back with it, timeout with Coach Cam, we shouldn't miss a minute, yeah.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Time Out with Coach Cam. It's your boy Cam Chancellor, and I know I've been gone for a little minute. Uh, it's that time, man. Coaching, getting busy, getting ready for the season. But there's definitely some exciting news that's been going on as we get prepared for NFL free agency. Obviously, that is a big time. It's a big time, honestly, for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's a huge offseason for them. So we will talk about, possible. Have we seen the leak of the New Jerseys? Also, the franchise tag. That actually passed yesterday, the deadline to be able to franchise tag your players. Obviously, we did not franchise tag William Jackson, or we did not franchise tag Carl Lawson, and that kind of had Bengals Twitter and Bengals social media up in a frenzy a little bit. So we'll definitely discuss that, and I'll also discuss different mock draft scenarios. Everybody's kind of locked in on Sewell, Chase. We had some Pitts conversations. So that would be interesting as well to discuss. So I would definitely start off by talk about the Bengals, and obviously we will discuss the NBA. We're at the All Star break. Games that started tonight. So we will discuss the second half of the season and what to look forward to. Obviously, there was a big move that happened during the All Star break as Blake Griffin decides that he's going to sign with Brooklyn. So that's a huge move in the NBA. So I'm definitely excited to talk about this stuff and get back to it. But before we start, I do want to say that I do miss doing it. I do miss you guys. So I'm definitely gonna try to bring a good show. Now, and this is a huge point being brought up: the cap room in the NFL being at 182.5. That's huge. A lot of people will be cut, and that's why I say this offseason more so than ever is huge for the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm gonna touch on that. Now, everybody was kind of up in frenzy. I posted a leak of the New Jerseys, and obviously the outrage was fair and was warranted. People kind of looked at the jerseys and was like, "Yo, those jerseys are not it." We was expecting a little more, and I understand that. I really do understand that. But you got to realize that we were going for a little more clean, sleek look. And to be honest, I kind of felt bad for the Bengals that the jerseys was leaked that way. They were leaked on a hanger. So let's be honest with that. They were leaked. The jersey was on a hanger, for crying out loud. I don't think an intro of a jersey on the hanger is gonna please anybody, and it's not gonna look that way when you actually when it's actually on a jersey, on pads and things like that. So looking at that eBay picture, that was really bad, but it was kind of Twitter brings light to the situation, and it gave kind of a better picture of what the Bengals what the jerseys would look like on the field. And I did post this on my page, but if you didn't see, you got these here, which looks much better. It doesn't look as cheap there, and I do like the stripes on the shoulder. I think it's a clean look. I hated the side panel before with it. And these are the orange ones as well. I think that's a relatively clean look. The only thing I don't like is the font. The font on the numbers. They do remind me of the Bears somewhat. But all in all, I really do think the jerseys are not bad at all. I think it's honestly a solid jersey. If you think about it, and I think the white ones are going to really look good. when they introduced those. So I'm definitely still excited about the new jerseys. Obviously, it wasn't quite the way they introduced them. I thought that was bad. But I think the jersey will be okay. I do like the clean look with the tiger stripe. I'm anxious to see the white ones and how they will turn out. Um, People are saying these may not be it, but I think they will be, or it'd be something really, really similar to it. So we'll definitely see. But I think I like the jerseys. I think they clean. They'll look better, as uniform with the pants and we ain't even seen the pants, so we don't know how it's gonna work together. So I would say be patient on that, and just kind of hold out, your criticism of the jerseys because I honestly think those are some very, very, very good jerseys, and I think they'll look good. When they do their introduction to them and everything like that this spring. I don't know what the pants look like Woods as of yet, um, but we'll see. I guess we'll see sometime coming up after the draft, a little bit after the draft, or a little bit before the draft. I believe they're gonna make that happen. But now moving on. Now the mock draft. Everybody's anxious to see who we get. A lot of people saying Sewell or bust. I'm not in that category. I'm not in the category of Sewell or bust. I don't think that's the case. I think there are several ways we could go with this, but it all depends on what we do in free agency. That's gonna be the biggest. That's gonna be the biggest thing is what we do in free agency. That's gonna dictate what we can do in the draft. Now there are a lot of good players getting cut, like like my guy Chris Brown said. Today, Riley Reef got cut, the tackle for the Vikings. That's a viable source, a player that we could pick up. He won't be incredibly cheap, but he won't break the bank. So it's a veteran, someone you can rely on at right tackle that you could put in and start for you. Kevin Zeitler got cut by the Giants, solid guard, someone we know what Kevin Zeitler could give us. We drafted him, and we could plug him at right guard. There's so many ways you can go. I know a lot of people are talking Thuney as well. A lot of people want Thuney. Now, my thing is this. Thuney was, at one point, an all-pro guard. His production has slightly dipped each and every year since. I'm not high on spending $16 million annually. No telling how many guaranteed on a guy that has a PFF grade of 73. You can find a better bargain at at a much cheaper price at that PFF grade, and that's where my concern is with getting a Thuney. I don't want to pay $16 million annually. Let's just say $22 to $25 million guaranteed on a guy that's been playing really, a little bit above average, but he's not warranted top guard money. I know in free agency you got to go out and overspend, and I'm not saying don't go spend. Please spend, because this is the year to do it, especially with a lot of people being cut. However, we got to look at this thing and be smart about it because we got a lot of holes to fill. I know the offensive line is the most important. We got to protect Joe Burrow. We got to protect the franchise. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you could get a solid line without breaking the bank for one. And if you're going to break, my thing is this, if you're going to break the bank for a lineman, if you're going to pay $16 million annually and about $25 million guaranteed, maybe guaranteed up front, why not go get Trent Williams? Why not go get Trent Williams? You solidify, you put him at left tackle, you put Jonah at right tackle, and you talk about you got two bookend tackles for at least for the next 4 years. So let's not. If you're gonna address the line. Stop playing. If you're gonna spend $16 million a year, you might as well spend $18 to $20 million a year and get a Trent Williams where you're gonna get all pro production. And you got a solid tackle in Jonah Williams. So you got your bookend tackles. Now my thing is that guard is I would resign Quentin Spain. I would resign Quentin Spain, and then I would go try to get a Zeitler. So you get maybe a Williams and a Zeitler. You know what I mean? Resign Quentin Spain. Now you can go out in the draft and pick the best player available. Now you can go get a Chase. Now you can go get a Pitts. Now you can do different, or Waddle. Now you can do some different things or look to trade down, get more picks. It shouldn't be Sewell or bust. We shouldn't think like that. Let's see here. Should have never lowball Big. Well, I agree with that. Big Witt should still be in the Bengals uniform. Certain players don't need to be lifers with your team, and I thought Big Witt was one of those. He should have never been lowballed or let walk out that door. Period. How much cap space? As of right now, we got 43 million, and you got to think, Sam, is that we gonna cut. We're gonna cut Geno Atkins most likely. We're gonna release him, or we possibly trade him to the Vikings. Cause I know Geno and Mike Zimmer, they probably maybe want to reunite, but if they can't get a deal done, look for us to release Geno Atkins. I also look for us to release Bobby Hart. That's another 5 million that you can save there by releasing him. I don't think we will release Uzama. It sounds like they're happy with his progress from his Achilles injury and they really like him. So I don't see that release happening. But Bobby Hart and also Geno Atkins, you could possibly see them being released as a cap casualty. But hey, you talking about if you release that, you talk about now having 43 million. Now you jump up to about 53 million. No, even more actually. I apologize on that. You talk about 57 million, and now you can really get active. And I'm talking about because Bengals got to be prepared to spend. And you didn't use the tag, and which I'm not mad at, by the way. I'm not mad that we did not use the tag on William Jackson III. I'm not mad that we didn't use the the tag on Carl Lawson. You seen what happened when we used the tag. We used it with AJ last year. It backfired. I'm not saying it'll happen this year, but if you use the tag on one of those players, they're not re-signing with you the following year. So you're gonna eat up 18 million if you was to sign Lawson, or 15 million if you were to sign Jackson for some franchise tag. You're gonna eat up 15 million of that in cap space to keep him for 1 year. It didn't make sense. So with the Bengals, I do agree with that. Now they have to try to find a way to sign Carl Lawson. They got to try to find a way to keep him. 'Cause if not, we really got to get some pass. Because if they're not going to sign those two players, then they better spend like crazy because they got the cash. And I'm talking about they better get a top tier free agent lineman. They better go get a corner. They better go get D lineman. Oh, they better spend if they don't sign Lawson or Jackson. They better be prepared to spend a lot of money. And I think they are prepared to spend a lot. They spent a lot last year. I think they will spend a lot this year. I think a player like Joe Burrow speaks for himself. Joe Burrow don't come out and say much, but you've seen the type of pressure his presence brings to an organization. We never even talked about spending before. Last year we spent. Last year we spent. This year we spent. So we know we got something special. You got to spend now while he's in his rookie deal. I think we will. My ideal off season is we sign a guard. Like I said, I prefer Gabe Jackson. Uh, I just said his name. Gabe Jackson, Kevin Zeitler. And if you're gonna try to go after a Thuney, you might as well go after a big dog and get Trent Williams. But I don't see that happening. So I would like for them to get Zeitler, re-sign Quentin Spain, and get a tackle. And I like the tackle from Carolina, Darrell Williams. That's instantly an upgrade. So you could get Darrell Williams at right tackle. You'll have Zeitler at guard, Hopkins at center, center. Spain at guard with Jonah Williams at left tackle. That is a way better offensive line we tried out there week one. And I understand Billy Price may have to start a few games for Trey Hopkins because Trey Hopkins got injured towards the end of the year. So I understand that. But those five are going to be your main starters. So I will look to address the offensive line through free agency. Address the offensive line through free agency. Get a speed receiver like a Curtis Samuel. Someone that'll be, that won't break the bank, but you'll have to pay him a little bit. Get a Curtis Samuel, someone that can take the top off the defense. and then you re-sign and you extend Jesse Bates. That's got to be a priority somewhere this offseason. Re-sign Jesse Bates, and then you address hard defensively in the draft. Obviously, you'll probably want to pick BPA, but that's where if you address the line of free agency, you get a speed receiver in free agency. Now you talk about trading down, which leads me to my mock draft here, which I'm going to show you. If we do the free agent moves that I just said, as far as the line, the speed receiver, and free agency, I would love to trade back. Let's see here. So AJ out of here. Oh, AJ's good as gone. There's no way I see AJ Green back unless he takes a real team friendly deal, which can be the case because there's so many people being released. There's so many receivers out there right now that's on the market. AJ may get lost in the shuffle, so I don't know where he ends up. To be quite honest with you, but I don't see it back here. I really don't. He says, "Shoot, I don't tag anybody in Madden. I let them go." That's funny. Uh, yeah, yeah. That tag is crucial. You got to be ready to spin or not. But that tag is definitely the tag is just something for you to give you an extra more time to really get a deal done. And and if that if you're not using the tag for that, it's almost pointless. To be quite honest with you, it really is almost pointless if you're not using that to extend your time to be able to sign someone. But like I said, I'm definitely excited about the free agency. But like I said, if we do those things, I would like where we have an instance in where we trade back. Now, a lot of people want Sewell. I get that. I understand that. But I think if we looked at the draft and I said if we got a speed receiver, if we got if we address the line in free agency, and maybe we still have a room for a tackle or something like that, I would trade down. I would trade down. In this instance, I traded down to 16, and I got 16 and 49 and another first round pick for the following year for number 5. In which in 16 I drafted Christian Darrisaw. I think he's going to be a darn good tackle. I think him, Slater, and Sewell. It's not much gaps between the three. At 38, I picked Tyson Campbell. I like Tyson Campbell a lot. He just ran, I believe, a 4.3 sub 4.40, at his pro day. Uh, and Georgia normally produce good defensive backs. I would love to have Tyson Campbell there at 38. And at 49, like I said, address the defense, edge rushers. We need those if we're not going to sign back Carl Lawson. Carlos Basham Jr., I think he'll be a good prospect out of Wake Forest. The tight end position, I still think that's where we can get a little better at. Everybody want Cal Pitts. I just don't think we'll grab one that high. But in the third round, if we can get a Brevin Jordan from Miami, Florida, very athlete, can cause mismatches, and that's huge. You got to have that in the AFC North. You got to have where you can create mismatches against linebackers. AFC North, that's the weakness. No team can really guard the tight end in the AFC North, so that would be a good advantage there. Attack the line some more with Ben Cleveland, and then you have Jalen Twyman and some of the linemen like that. I just think it benefits us if we trade back. I just really do. We have so many holes to fill, and looking at, I'm not saying Lawson is gone, but just knowing the history of the Bengals, when we let people hit the market, we don't seem to retain them. So, with that being said, I really think Lawson is gone, and I think William Jackson is gone. So, I definitely want them to get pass rushing. They need interior defenders. So it's a lot of holes that need to be filled. So I'm all in for trading back and getting more picks and getting more draft capital because it's needed. It's needed on the Bengals. Let me see here. I wasn't big on drafting Pitts, but after watching his tape, I don't think I'll be able to pass on him. Now, don't get me wrong. Pitts is a dog. When I say he's good, he's good. Like he's really good. I the only thing with me is the physicality of the AFC North. It always concerns me when I think of athletic finesse guys. I get concerned when we talk about AFC North football. Got to be physical. Got to be ready to go, man. Uh, but like I said, this is a huge chance because we're gonna see more people hit that free agency. More people hit that free agency. But yes, I am one of those people that is not high on drafting on fixing the line solely through the draft. I want some veteran guys in there. I want some solid guys in there. A lot of people saying Sewell or bust. I just don't look at it that way. I, it's just so many different ways you can go, and you can get quality guys out there in the free agent market right now. So why not do that? That's to me would be baffling. But hey, we'll see. We'll find out real soon. And to be honest, people that's been released could get signed right away. If I'm the Bengals, I don't sit on my hands. I'm calling Kevin Zeitler and I'm trying to get a reunion done. Um, with the Bengals. You got to try to find a way to get this done. Because you can't pity pat around in free agency because once you do, that's where you lose the battle and that's where you lose out the teams and then you stuck trying to figure out, what you gonna do. So that's my take on the Bengals, man. But I am excited about the free agency. We got a chance to get extremely better while teams, that's really cap strapped is going to lose a lot of good pieces. So I'm definitely excited to see where we end up, and we should get tons of better this offseason. Now, moving on to the NBA. Now, Blake Griffin has signed with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, a lot of people, been sharing their opinion on it. Blake ain't gonna give him much. Blake done. Blake ain't dunked since 2019. This, that, and the third. I just tell you one thing. Your attitude, your swag, everything changes when you can have a possibility to win. Detroit, no knock, to their organization, but Detroit is not a place where right now where you're happy to show up to work and you're happy to perform. He is now at a place where he can win a championship. So people is killing me saying how Blake Griffin is not going to help. He's definitely going to help. I mean, he's not going to have the weight of the world on his shoulders like he had at Detroit. I mean, he was a star player for crying out loud. But I think it was a good piece for Brooklyn. Just another piece in the fold. Just another piece in the fold for them to throw out there. And it gives them somewhat some athleticism. Now, I know everybody said Blake ain't dunked since when. I guarantee you he dunked with the Nets. I guarantee you Blake Griffin dunks with the Nets. I'll go there. Blake Griffin might get a dunk his first game with the Nets. I'm gonna go as far to say that. And that's just for real. Like people all of a sudden just get better when when they go to a place where you got a chance to win. Let's see if Blake can give them 13 points a game, 5 or 6 rebounds. I think he'll be fine. Yeah, and he ain't got to give them that. With KD, with Harden, with Kyrie, he don't even have to give them that. If he can give them, just a solid maybe 7, 8 points, 5, 6 rebounds, just give him some minutes, he'll be fine. He ain't got to do that much. And that's what people are failing to realize. Like, they get another person that's been there, all star, and that's not gonna do nothing but help the Brooklyn Nets. And right now, honestly, I don't see anybody, and I mean I don't see anybody beating the Brooklyn Nets in a 7-game series in the Eastern Conference. I know, Philly has a chance. with Joel Embiid. I do like Philly. Joel Embiid, Doc Rivers got him playing on another level. But it's just too much firepower in Brooklyn. You talk about Joe Harris. People forget about him, and he's a sniper as well. It's a lot. It really is a lot, and I just think Brooklyn has put together a team. Everybody wants to play there. You can't fault them, and I think they win. I think they come out of the East. I don't think they have a hard time in the East, to be quite honest with you. I don't like the way the Celtics is playing, and I don't know what has gotten into the Celtics at all. I don't know if it's Kimba messing them up. I don't know if um, is Brad Stevens' voice getting old. Maybe that's the case because I just feel like Brad Stevens is a good coach, but it's only so long that you can stay at one place, and if you're not winning championships, your voice get old. Like Greg Popovich, he got equity out in San Antonio. He's a five-time champion, so you're gonna listen to Greg Pop. Even though you may go through a little down period, Greg Pop, he like I said, he got equity. He got equity in the game. He got fouling. You look at some of these people, even someone like a Rick Carlisle, who's won a championship, you know, got through Dallas's kind of down years, and now got Luca, and now he back at it. But Celtics is just says Celtics has been trash all year, terrible roster. I mean, I just don't see it as a terrible roster though. I can't. I mean, that roster week. I just don't see it as a terrible roster. Now, I don't like their big. I hate Daniel Theis. I do not like Tristan Thompson. Yeah, there we go. Right there. I was hitting on that. They got too many centers that do the same thing. Robert Williams. You know, um, they really didn't address that position the way they should have. And they went the bargain route. And that's one thing I don't like about Danny Ainge. He could put a team together, no doubt about it. But all these years, he had a chance to pull a plug on something special. He never did it. And I think that's the reason why they're in this spot. I give a lot of credit to Danny Ainge for putting this team together, and I give credit to and I put the blame on Danny Ainge for why this team hasn't ascended over the top. You talk about someone that you could have had Drummond. You could have had Anthony Davis at one point if you wanted to um, get rid of some pieces. You could have possibly had Hart. Like it was so many pieces or so many superstars they could have got that they sat on their hands and they didn't, and they kept all them picks for. Which was to me like at some point you got to get a bona fide superstar in there to make everything work. The NBA is the main league that where you have to have superstars to win. Every now and then you'll get a team, a perfect team put together like the Pistons, like the Mavericks, but that happens once every 15 years. And since the Mavericks, then it was the Raptors, and they still had a star, with Kawhi, but they didn't have multiple stars. Any other year, you got to have multiple stars to win. That's where I think where the Celtics just got in trouble with. Let me see here. Said brother JM said their roster is constructed poorly. I mean I think it is, but like I said, they got the pieces to do better at what they're doing. Like right now, they're absolutely awful. There are only two legit teams in there. I agree. It's Philly and it's the Brooklyn Nets. But to me, I love the Brooklyn Nets coming out of the East. I know Philly is going to put up a fight. I just don't see them beating Brooklyn 4 out of 7. I just think it's too much. Just too much firepower, man. It's too much firepower, and it's crazy as it is, and people not gonna take them seriously. And I'm not, I'm kind of off the wagon too. But you still can't forget about the Milwaukee Bucks. I know people are kind of pushing them to the side, but COVID kind of hit them hard with Drew Holiday being out for about 2 to 3 weeks. That kind of hurt them. They're looking much better with Drew Holiday back in the lineup. Um, so I honestly do still kind of consider Milwaukee Bucks in there. I'm not gonna dismiss them. Yeah, I'm not high on them like I was in years past, but I'm not just gonna completely dismiss them completely because Drew Holiday back was definitely big for them. He was out for big period of time, especially while they were struggling. So, um, I do include them in the East, but outside of that, yeah. Now, since I've done a show, and it's been a little while ago, Lloyd Pierce got fired from the Atlanta Hawks, and I didn't get a chance to touch on this, but I got to touch on this because I don't like the way it went down. Now, I've talked about the Hawks before, and I've said their coaching may hold them back, and I'm not saying Lloyd Pierce was the best coach in the world. I just don't like the way how things was done in Atlanta. I didn't like that one bit. It seems like they just absolutely just quit on Lloyd Pierce. And you looked at Trae Young's play, everything is down across the board. Shooting percentages, points per game, everything is down. Everything is down. Jon Collins been playing well, but Rondo been hit or miss out of the lineup. Not really giving them what you expect. Then you had Bogdanovic, he got hurt. So you had a lot of things happen, and the young guys that were drafted really not extending and playing well. And it's kind of like it was a mutiny against Lloyd Pierce, and I don't like that. I don't like when there's a mutiny against a coach like that, because my thing is this: all I know is Atlanta Hawks better make the playoffs under Nate McMillan. It's no excuse. It's no excuse why they won't make the playoffs this year in the East. So if they don't make the playoffs, I'm I'm definitely out on the Hawks, and I'm out on Trae Young. I'm definitely out on him if they don't make the playoffs this year. And I know he's a young player, but to me, it seemed like a whole bunch of empty calorie stats, uh, not meaning much, not contributing to wins. And that's why I said Trae Young's a great player. Everybody like, oh, he on par with Luka. Look at his stats. I said, no, it's more than that. I said he gets his buckets, he gets his assists, but for real, because you get your assists and because you get your points, that don't mean you're a team player. And Trae Young doesn't strike me as a team player. He strikes me as a me guy. And we'll see, but they better make the playoffs. That's all I gotta say. You cry and you push this coach out the door. You better make the playoffs. Let me see. Do you think the Clippers will trade Lou Will? I don't, man. I think they should, but I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think they're gonna try to go for it. I think they're gonna try to go for it one more time with this group before they try to disband it. I think they should. I think they need to go after Kyle Lowry. I think Patrick Beverly may be in the deal if they go after Kyle Lowry. I think the Clippers, if they do go after Kyle Lowry, I think the Clippers will be one of the favorites in the West, if not the favorite in the West. Um, Pat Bev I like his grittiness. But he just don't give you what you need. Um, and they need a point guard, who can, distribute and facilitate. That's what Kawhi needs. That's what Paul George needs. Um, that's simply just what they need. And so I will be on the phone, definitely trying to get a Kyle Lowry. And this is a good one, good too. Contact the Pelicans. See, hey, are you trying to extend Lonzo? What you trying to do with him? Because if not, I would try to get him back in LA with the Clippers and get Lonzo Ball down. That'd be a huge fit too. But that'd be a good fit. Lonzo or Kyle Lowry, they need to get on the phone and make that move and get a point guard in there for the Clippers. Because if not, Kawhi is going to start looking to head out the door. Which Chris said Kawhi will be in Philly if neither team wins the ship. Watch, which could be the case. Which could be the case. They got a lot of pieces to trade. Do the Hawks move Jon Collins? They need to. They already offered him what they're gonna offer him, and he ain't accepted. So they need to go ahead and get rid of him. They need to go ahead and trade him. And get some pieces back for him, or give him the max that he wants. Jon Collins is a good player, a good young front court player. Um, he will definitely be a solid piece on some contending teams. It'll be anxious to see what the Hawks do with it. But that'll be another stupid move by the Hawks, and that's why I always say some teams I label them what can go wrong will go wrong, is because this is a player that's in his third year, and now we're looking to get rid of him, and he's close to being an all-star level player. Organizations sometimes hinder these teams, and these front offices hinder these teams. And this is just another example of the Atlanta Hawks franchise being stupid, and being kind of incompetent. And that's why you see them in this position year in and year out. Said bye bye Tobias Harris. Yep, the infamous phrase, what can go wrong will go wrong. Now, I will shout out the Phoenix Suns. They kind of shook that label off, getting Chris Paul and winning this year, but the Hawks, they stayed right on par with it. Now, before we head out for the evening, I want to talk about two quarterbacks. I want to talk about Russell Wilson, and I want to talk about Deshaun Watson. Those are the big names that is coming up, you know, um, quarterback wise, and in this free agency, just because it's been some disgruntled, talk by both of them. Now, I've been asked, will he be a Seahawk next year? And that's an interesting question, because at first I'm like, yeah, they're gonna keep, they're not gonna get rid of him. There's no way they're gonna get rid of him. They're gonna keep Russ. Like, why wouldn't they? Get a line, build around him. Come on, let's do this thing. But now, you look at the how the cap is working. Uh, if you look at their last, I say about 3 years, Seahawks, they've been mainly one and done, or they'll win a playoff game and they'll go home. It's really, if you looked at the Seahawks, you never looked at them and saying, you know what, they're gonna come out the NFC. They're gonna come out the NFC. We haven't said that about the Seahawks in a long time. And the way their cap is set up, it's really nothing for them to do. Like to really get them that much better, that over the hump. Their defense was honestly terrible last year. They got better towards the end. They ended up getting Carlos Dunlap from the Bengals. Obviously, helped them with their pass rush a little bit. But overall, that team that was terrible. Defense was terrible. They was rated 30th up until like week 10. So when I look at the Seahawks, and if y'all know me, I'm out for blowing it up. If you're not gonna try to get over that hump, and you gotta look at it now, 49ers will be healthy this year. They're a quarterback away. Uh, the Arizona Cardinals got Watt. If Kyler Murray stay healthy, uh, you know, maybe they, take, overthrow the Rams. But like I said about the Cardinals, I've been saying about the Cardinals, they're not going to win anything with Cliff Kingsbury as their coach. They got a great team out there in Arizona, and he is a definite. Him and Zach Taylor, definition of failing up. Didn't have a winning record, and didn't have a winning record at Texas Tech, but somehow he gets a promotion and gets a job in the NFL. I don't understand it. That's going to hold Arizona back. Is Cliff Kingsbury. Let's see here. They overpaid for Jamal Adams. Oh, absolutely. Jamal Adams is probably one of the most overrated players in the NFL. And I know a lot of people probably look at me like I'm crazy, but he is. I mean, he's supposed to be like he's a safety. To me, he's a glorified. He's a linebacker. He's had one interception, okay, a couple interceptions his whole career. I mean, he's a glorified box safety. He's not making any game changing plays. He's not an Earl Thomas like what Earl Thomas was. He's not like that type of safety that's gonna make game changing plays. He's not a Harrison Smith in the prime. He's not nothing. He's not nothing like that. Um, he's an extra linebacker out there. And he talk about so he has the most sacks as a safety. I don't want my safety getting sacks. Like they definitely overpaid Jamal Adams. He a solid player, but not the player that they hype him up to be. Rams best team in the division. Yeah, I agree with that. I do think the Rams the best team in the division. However, I'm not sold on the Matthew Stafford thing. What has he done? Like, what has he won? I mean, I understand the Lions is not a great team, but there's plenty of games where they be up 21 nothing and they'll lose the game 27-24. That to me, I'm sorry. I understand you'll look at the defense and say they're supposed to hold the lead, but hey, you're supposed to keep scoring too. He goes second halves without scoring, long stretches without scoring, allowing teams to. I'm just not high on Matthew Stafford like that. I do. It was a good trade for them because I know McVay can get it out of him. But we'll see. I do think they're the best team in the division, but I don't think that makes him a Super Bowl contender. Let's see here. Jimmy G is mild. Watt is mild. Bro. Well, I mean, you got to think. Watt may still. Why you say he mild? But some cats need to change the scenery. You put him on the line now with a Chandler Jones. You got you got a front, another pass rusher, on the opposite side of him or next to him. That's an All Pro caliber player. You put them two together. Now you get Watt possibly single block. Now Watt may be mild, but you don't go into a game. You don't go into a game basically saying you're gonna single block J.J. Watt. It's just something that you don't want to do on a play-to-play basis. Um, but yeah, we'll see. Let's see here. I believe if the Rams have offered the Texans that package, they would have gotten Watson. Maybe, but I'm telling you, they want a whole bunch for Watson, and which leads me to Deshaun Watson. If I'm Deshaun Watson, man, I'm sitting down, I'm holding out until they trade me. And I know they're gonna play hardball with him too. They're gonna play hardball with him. They're not gonna trade him. This is gonna be like a Carson Palmer like situation. But a lot of people don't realize that Mike Brown was fine with trading Carson. He just wasn't gonna trade him for anything. He wanted exactly what he wanted. But the Texans is really not trying to trade that man. This is the difference. They're not trying to trade him at all. So this is gonna be an ugly situation. It's not gonna be pretty. I'm anxious to see how it play out, but if I'm Deshaun Watson, I stick to my guns because you seen what this organization is about. You seen how they gutted all your weapons. Traded DeAndre Hopkins, one of the best receivers in the league, arguably the best, for a washed up running back and a second round pick. It's like, come on. And then you're supposed to have the fourth pick or the third pick this year. You don't have it. The Dolphins have it, so you can't even rebuild there. If I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm sticking to my guns. You got enough money. Don't step foot back on that field with the Houston Texans. You just simply can't do it. You can't do it. I wouldn't blame him if he don't do it. And you know what? They need to trade him. And I won't be surprised if you see Houston back with that number 3 pick, and he just traded to Miami. I mean, it's the logical situation. They got the most pick. So we'll see about that. Let's see. Where do you believe Sue ends up? That's a good question, because he's a veteran. He's an older veteran. He's gonna kind of gotta kind of wait to see where things things go with other guys. It's gonna be for a contending team for sure. I just don't want it to be something like the Ravens. I could possibly see like somewhere with like the Titans. And he can always go back to Tampa. Tampa is racking up. They signed back Levante David, which was huge for them. So they're looking to make another run at this thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up sending back there either. So hey, it's gonna be interesting. You're gonna see a lot more cuts tomorrow and throughout the week. So that's why I'm excited to see what else is gonna be out there because it's a big chance for the Bengals to get better and they have to get better. So we'll see. But all right, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's been a minute, but I'll try to bring these shows as frequent as possible. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate the dialogue back and forth. We'll definitely be back. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you comment. Like I say, I enjoy comment back and forth, reading the comments and reacting to them. So make sure y'all continue to watch, continue to support. We out.
Timeout, overtime, hot take, debate, penalty by so many options. We on the way. Unapologetic opinions, guests checking in, so I share on my social. Merch going up, my brother he going global. Ass hold it down for the ladies that need their own show. But we right back with it. Time out with Coach Cam. We shouldn't miss a minute. But we right back with it. Time out with Coach Cam.